Hi Ashini, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, doctor.
Today we have to discuss something about the very mind.
Okay.
You are basically a commerce graduate, I suppose.
Yes.
So, whatsoever be the subject, mind is not a topic in that, except psychology. That's why I have been writing in my Facebook, I mentioned to many audiences that psychology should be made a compulsory part of the curriculum in schools. When the students are mugging up details about galaxies and all those mathematics and science and chemistries and all that for their employment actually,
That's right.
okay? They should have been trained, at least informed about the various systems and process and ways of the body, which they do in the subject called physiology and whatever biology, in a very mechanical way of course,
Yes.
not as things within them. The biology teachers, especially human physiology teachers, should have been creative, at least minimum, to invite the attention of the listening children there to also reflect upon the truth that whatever you see in the chart are inside them. You know,
Yes.
they learn biology or human physiology like the way they learn physics and chemistry and maths.
Right.
Have something outside them. And above all, after that, there should be critical general principles of psychology. Because mind is everything for the man. The entire world is governed by the minds, not technologies, not so-called whatever stupid political ideologies, whatever. It is all driven by the minds of the leaders,
Yes.
their whims and fancies. Their emotions of love and hatred and jealousy and whatever, resentment or guilt feeling or whatever. And such ever pervasive is the singular role of the so-called mind of the man. And when there are great field of psychology which has created a lot of philosophies and perspectives about the mind, like geniuses of Sigmund Freud or Albert Bandura or Carl Jung or even myself, by creating a new subject called creative psychology, psychology of creativity. I would say that is the greatest part of psychology, okay?
Yes, doctor.
Because creative psychology is about how to create a greater human being. Current psychology is about studying the available human beings and creating theories based on them. Clinical psychology, in which I have my postgraduate degree, it's about observing mentally ill people. But of course it creates a diagnosis, prognosis, treatment methodologies and therapies.
Okay.
But in my subject called creative psychology, there is nothing like that. It's always about the possibility of creativity. It will be a small book. How to apply so-called creativity when the very psychologists say that everybody is creative, how to use that creativity of everybody towards a creation of a better, fulfilling human being. I am talking about the mind. I will not begin the class or run the class like conventional schools and colleges in the world. My session on the mind has already started for your information, Ashini.
Okay.
I am talking about the mind the way no other psychology classrooms will ever discuss in the whole world, including in Harvard and Stanford and Cambridge and Oxford and wherever. I know that. As I told you the other day, I existed 100% of the time, almost inside the laboratory of my being.
Own body.
Of course, everybody is that, but I observed it. And not only I observed it, I did ridiculous, rigorous, dangerous experiments on them. Laboratories for doing experiment,
Right.
not to have a bed and sleep with mobile phones, chatting with somebody. I used my laboratory really as best as I can. Not all, it cannot go, that will require 1000 years. But I don't want to do that. I am clearly focused. I wanted to understand about what I really loved to understand. For that my laboratory was quite sufficient. Because my research was on natural processes in the universe. And I read somewhere, or my father or mother told me that you are an integral part of the universe. You are a piece of universe. You don't need the entire iron ore to be tested to know whether there is iron content in that. You take a sample and you test it, okay? So the mind governs the man. When mind is not a subject matter of, at least preliminarily learning to the millions of poor children in the world, they do not realize that what they want to know is never given to them.
Yes.
And their entire life becomes a struggle of emotions and depressions and all kinds of emotions, all kinds of social problems, all kinds of social conflicts, all kinds of whatsoever is destroying the current world and by its overpopulation would never have been there. I have taught psychology just for 4 years in one of the top colleges in Kerala state. 3 years, Union Christian College, Alvi, where only the best students would come. But at the same time, in sports quota, arts quota and all that, the most notorious students would come.
Okay.
Which I always loved notorious students. I found every time they are more creative than the so-called good students. Anyway, what I wanted to say is that I could observe as a creative observer who observed the deers and the winds and the mists and the hiding elephants in the great forest with Pandian, I told you the other day, along with my great father in the mountainous, dangerous forests of Munnar of 1950s. And such a person I am. So I could see that how the students were changing from first year to second year to third year. Yeah. Yes. And psychology is only one subject. Whereas biology, physiology, statistics and other so-called subsidiaries in English language and all. Perhaps sometimes I think it is a conspiracy of the clerics or the religious heads of the world to prevent that from inclusion into the academic curriculum of schools. Because they know, especially the Catholic Church would collapse if the theories of clinical psychology and Sigmund Freud are included in the curriculum. Almost all so-called established religions will lose its membership count if every child learns psychology in their classrooms. I declare this to the world. Let them say a no. And if they believe that no, let them introduce psychology tomorrow, from next academic year onwards. And I challenge the Government of India, Department of Education also. I really invite the attention of, for example, so-called, Narendra Damodar Das Modi, who of course, I have great appreciation for him, really a creative genius. He is doing his 100% speed of engines and mindset, somehow to put India into a different level. There may be debates about what that different level is, whatever it is. If I get 15 minutes to talk to him, I am sure I will convince him. I am sure, because he has that background. He is a wonderful guy because of his earlier rigorous RSS training for 28 years. He was named Narendra by his father because his father appreciated Swami Vivekananda, whose original name is Narendra. And he was carrying that mental impression about that and growing up in the RSS organization, taking its leadership position most of the time in that location. He is the one who nursed the dying sannyasi. A little boy he was, even below the age of 12, he took actual physical care of a decayed body of a sannyasi who was about facing death. Yeah. An extraordinary activity any child in the world can ever imagine. I am sure it was his blessing that nobody could really defeat him when they tried en bloc. And you know, this so-called Narendra, at the age of 18, he got married and he never, I don't think he never even slept with her at all. Because his mind was riveted to that only goal to become a member of the Ramakrishna mission, RK mission, at the age of 18, 19, 20. And almost within 1 week of his marriage, this guy, he went all the way from Rajkot, whatever in Gujarat, to all the way to Bangalore, Kolkata, to so-called Belur Mutt, the head of Ramakrishna mission. Of course, I am talking about the minds of people. Everywhere the mind is revealed. That's why mind is an ocean. That's why there are several theories about the mind. Every individual is a history of mind. Okay?
Yes.
You may, if there's a real psychologist, he has to book a psychology book on every living human being. But there would be generalities, no doubt. A lot of things will be general. The great majority will have more or less the same things. Very few people like you might have developed different perspectives because of the different crucibles in which you were tested in your early development time onwards. Without suffering, that genius is impossible, Yashini. That's what myself and Mandra Rishika have been discussing just half an hour back. I was discussing with her a topic with, you should see my Facebook posts, okay?
Sure, doctor.
Every post is a unique thesis. Otherwise, I wouldn't do that. I am the only one who is doing like that in the entire Facebook community of millions of people. I openly said that Facebook is my book. I stopped writing books after finishing 9. Now I jot down my about 30% of my ideas in 1 or 2 sentences in Facebook. Most complex ideas will be captured in 1 or 2 sentences. Most of the time in a single sentence. And of course, maybe only 1 or 2 people only see that. I don't care. I do it for myself, so that I can see what I have thought. Basically that. Then I want Amaya and Mandra to see that. They don't have a Facebook membership. I consider that as a greater advantage than taking membership and going to that. Not only that, I don't want to overload them. They are already pretty overloaded. Evidenced by the discussion that, I told him, most of the time the mind is feeling depressed or anxiety or worry for no reason, which I have been undergoing, which I am a master in that undergoing that for decades. But I mastered it, it's a different issue. And the point is, the mind is not doing that happiness for so-called no reason. No? For happiness there should be an obvious reason, even an obvious reason which we discuss subsequently. Even obvious reasons of happiness are not counted by the human being in general, especially in this country. We do not know how to celebrate moments of happiness.
That is again a temporary. It can't be permanent happiness.
No, of course, that's why it should be celebrated. Even moments of the triggering of pain also is temporary only.
Yes.
But you only celebrate the pain. Your mind is taking up that small moment of pain and exaggerating and actually indirectly enjoying it's a tragedy of Lord. You said the pleasure also is momentary. Moment of sadness also triggered in a moment. Not that the entire load of happiness was suddenly put on your head, not at all. That's what I said. Moments of happiness are never noticed. If at all noticed, then it is very little and it does not sustain. That moment of marrying, the blissfulness of experience of that girl, that is lost within 1 minute. while a small dialogue variation will be remembered in the married time, by which even a divorce is possible. That's what it is.
Yes.
Anyway, the point is, the mind is doing the trick all the time.
Yes.
Our minds have been trained, especially in India, all over the world also, to notice the negatives more than the positive. There has been a theory by a Russian female psychologist by name Sigarnik, who said Sigarnik, whatever. It is very well known, called the Sigarnik effect. It is not by just named it. That is, the human mind has the tendency to remember the moments of failure and defeat and inglorious kind of more experiences. Which she did out of an experiment. That's the beauty, which is not to be discussed right now. That is the tragedy of the wonder of human mind. When I said that, then Mandra was telling also that only such minds will end up creative thinkers and philosophers. What she said is a fact also. Yeah, also I said, if it was so, the great majority of the populations would have been philosophers. I don't think any philosopher, as I have read, suffered what an average Tamilian in this village has suffered. Okay?
Yes.
So, that's all not correct mantra. But I understand the truth of what she said. Okay? All these are about the so-called mind. And it is the most powerful phenomenon, because it exists without any physical apparent support.
Yes.
The body we can, the matter we can know, then the intelligence we can know, that we are aware of the environment, we are able to read philosophy and physics. Then our intellect, our ability of analytical observation and thinking and reflection and creativity. And then something called spirit, which is definitely there, which coordinates all these things. A central power system. But where is the, okay, these are all apparently located in the, even the spirit or the intellect is definitely located in the central nervous system locations, positions. But where is the so-called bloody mind?
Mind.
But I have my clear theories. It is nothing but the overall effect of the so many lights burning kind of a thing. It's a kind of consciousness version. It is just the other side of the so-called consciousness.
So every cell would be having the mind, doctor,
Of course.
in that case.
Of course, that's your beauty, You're really reflecting girl, making me feel good that my choice is not incorrect. Right now I am talking to you, things that I have never talked to any other trainees, even after 3.5 hours of meeting. Because they were not living in such dangerous problems as that of you. Every one of them highly positioned, highly educated, intelligent, brilliant people. Even they could not do any justice to my program, though. They could not develop even 10% out of my program, sorry. Because to do the doing of what I am demonstrating in the sessions, they don't have the guts yet. That's the problem. Rarely people like, some of them are doing, they are definitely doing, but by that I wanted to say what I do. But even this I, who has understood the details of how the body dies, who has understood the essence of the universe, which I told you the other day, the continuity principle and the speed and condense.
Yes.
Do you know that just a book on that is enough, written and popularized is enough to make me world renowned? I know that. Now I am putting it in the video for the first time. It will come in the video, it will be there. Somebody may see it after 24 years. I don't care whether somebody see it or not. I just do this actually to manage my time. I have always been writing for about 44 years or reading. Now I am finally I am wanting to say why I had this anxiety, which triggered the discussion with the mantra. And I am carrying the burden of that anxiety for the last 4 years. Because I don't have anything to do. I don't want to read any more books. Okay, I can read a little more about particle physics, but now not on chemistry and economics and mathematics, etc. No. My domain is very clear. In that domain, I don't have anything more to know. Evidenced by my books and what I am discussing in this video or other videos. Even for me, Ashwini, there are terrible moments of unmanageable depression. Of course, I had developed already creativity therapy. I am the one who applies it almost every week.
Okay.
Yeah. I would be collapsed. And my Amaya Rajarshi and Mandra used to tell me, you have been doing so hard all over the years. They know my degree of work. And now it's time to just watch YouTube and just enjoy. I tried that. Even now I am doing that. But not at all successful. Because my standards about films are so high, unfortunately. So only in the last 3 years, actually, I purchased this TV because of my only relationship with the TV. If there is larger one, I would buy that. Full size the figures, Because I am living with what I see in the TV right now. That my attention helps me, luckily. When I see the forest, I am in that forest. About 10% or so.
Right.
Always I hear the rain. I have also discovered that the greatest music of the planet Earth is the rain sounds it triggers by fiddling the leaves and the branches of the trees. Piano buttons, millions of piano buttons pressing the keys of the leaves and the trees, of the trees and the plants and the Mother Earth, the earth. So I have been hearing rains for the last 2 years. I put all these tin sheets very recently only to hear the sounds of the rain. Now what I have done is, such a so-called guy who faced the moments of great chaos of enlightenment, of getting out of the body and feeling one with the entire universe at the age of 23, and enjoyed the beauty and wonder of it and jumped through the forest.
Yes.
That kind of a guy was never felt any moment of depression in the turbulence of life at all when I didn't have money to have urinnu vada from the roadside restaurant. And wherever I went for whatever little assignments. Yeah, by the way, because of my proneness to high sensitivity driven moment of conflict, that's why I never worked anywhere. I could have got any permanent job of what I love the most as an activity, teaching. But I would not prefer it because I don't want to teach all the available subjects. Because they cannot appoint a lecturer to teach only one subject.
You are so creative, you have to try different fields.
Not that I don't want to try. I don't find any meaning in them at my level. I can talk much greater things to the students, which I have always done from the first day of my teaching at the young age of 24. Even now students come here of that first batch. And I know what I talk, okay. Don't think that my talks are like this now. Yeah. Actually, it's only little deteriorated. Students used to sit down in my room and talk to me up till 2 o'clock in the night.
I listened one of your YouTube lecturing.
So that's why I said this much is that kind of an experienced guy is not able to manage the mind when real challenges come. So I am taking it as a real challenge. The day Amaya said, "Do you watch TV?" I purchased this one. That one. Then I realized that I am very sensitive to every inch of my body. Then I realized that the figures, it is constraining to the eyes. Then I searched for the largest size. This is not the largest size, that is what, but we don't have a space, and that which large is not enough, not required. Good. And what she suggested was a good therapy for me. And in between I am suffering the guilt feeling, sort of bordering on guilt feeling, that I can write another 50 books on original ideas, the way it is done in The Master Thief and every other 8 books. The first 2 books are named Genius Choice. The first of that kind in the whole possibility of publication. It was printed in state-of-the-art paper. And I had about 2,000 subscribers, my own students. Each copy was priced to 500 rupees. Quite sufficient to run it. But then by the second edition I realized that my system is very strange. You cannot continue in one step. You continuously climb steps. Like from poetry to short story, like that. So I don't find any sense in writing again. Then luckily I discovered the wonder of sun. As I told you yesterday also, I think I told you, this is the most enjoyable doing ever I have done in my life.
Yes, you mentioned.
But that was only once in a while. But I don't want to do every day also. That is very tedious, hard work. Though it is once in a while, so it is celebrated, it is enjoyed, no doubt. But then another one will be prepared maybe after 5 months. From this, never. But there is a regular activity, but what I am telling is, none of this will meet my requirements. So, though I can write, I don't write, that is another guilt feeling. Which Mantra and Amaya are so considerate to me that they never said I am not doing what I say. But right now I am working on a book called my Facebook book.
Okay.
That's only my Facebook posts. And then every one of that post can be written in a small book. You read Facebook
Sure.
by name Prasad Sundarraj.
Sure.
I have the confidence to say that that's also one of my posts. And I have also said anybody can copy it and develop on its own. They don't have to even refer to my name. But I know nobody can easily do that. Only some postdoctoral fellows in philosophy only can do that. Even a doctor student cannot do it. You read it anyway. But it's a mixture. I am very flexible. But I don't do of course I don't do stupidity. There is not a single so-called ordinary post at all. Instead of that I will put some photos also once in a while just like that. Because I want to try, I don't want to put it that I only do this goody boy. I am a bad boy. So sometimes my songs, I really sing very well. Not extraordinary, but I sing really well. I sang with the top singers in Snowd. After 20 years, even today, one of them is communicating with me because she has been selected the best singer, which I predicted 20 years back. So suddenly I get a WhatsApp message yesterday from a girl, yeah. So what you said about me 20 years back has come true. At the age of 45, I have been selected the best singer. Then I said, did I say that? I don't even remember. Anyway, what I talk is such a guy is working on managing depression by applying creativity therapy to oneself. So by this you can reflect upon what all turbulences you lived so successfully, my dear Ashwini. You know? That not only me, many psychologists say females are much, much more competent to manage their tragedies than men. There are even research reports saying that when the elderly people die, when husbands die first, the wives live still for longer, to 10 to 15 years. And if the wife dies first, the average lifespan is 5 to 6 years. I think not even average, it is 2 years. Women have more resilience and energy power. Of course, in their body only, new human being is born in their body. That advantage is there for you. But nevertheless, the kind of continuous daily experience of tragedies you manage, Ashwini. Daily experience of tragedy, am I right?
Yes.
Every day. Oh, I used to tell Abhay, you will not survive. I could not even dream. Alright, so the mind, that though it does not have any base in the body anywhere, specific base, people say, even biologists say it is around the central nervous system and all that. But I say it is around the autonomic nervous system and around the heart, chest, liver, ribs region. Mind is intimately connected with all those systems, bioanatomical systems which are trained to use a language and comprehend the meanings. You see? That normal, good human mind, which would have functioned so cool, evidenced by the fact of no case of depression or worry among the poorest of the poor, 250 families that I know here in Kalimangalam, that mind got corrupted and I would say virtually raped by the modern life situations and unnecessary conflicts of social consequences affecting people. Okay, so it is so obvious from global leaders to nevertheless even in the local village. And that has no base, no clear base. That is why it is so tricky.
Yes.
Even the mind, I have written about this, even the word mind you have to get out of first. It is just a name. Name is not the thing. The word India is not this huge territory of histories and population variation. So like India is to this real territory on planet Earth, mind is just a name of that huge, infinite kind of a map of real territory of potential processes and carrying the load of the memory, so-called memory, again one word for a huge, terrible, what you call in computers, RAM. As soon as a point, instantly it brings in the stupid, like in the internet of Google. Just have one word which you don't like heard from another person, within split second there are 100 memories about so bloody faithful, high fidelity rascal the mind is. That's why Lao Tzu, the supreme genius of ancient China, said, the greatest mastery in life is mastery over one's own mind. That I have trained thus far only one girl, a very brilliant girl, an MTech, plus a lot of background. So she specifically asked me, when I had discussed, her subject is engineering, I did sessions like that I am doing to you now, not about this kind of topics. Then out of all that I said, instantly, I don't have a plan, no syllabus. Whatever I am talking to you is stuck coming now only.
Okay.
So out of varied things I told her, this struck her. Yeah. I was so surprised. His father, of course, is a special person. His grandfather was again much more well-known person. In fact, her father was my student, in the first batch. And I was really, again, to talk about my integrity. Not my integrity, the coolness of the result of the 23, the training of my father and mother. He dropped that beautiful looking 25-year-old girl here and she were living here alone for 15 days. I will not allow I would not give my mantra, even the greatest sannyasi. Actually, he and his wife did it cool, without any show. So I had to do something for that trust also. And when she suggested this, she was here only for about remaining 10 days. She already was selected in a defense equipment manufacturing company in Mysore. Actually, the MD of that company who had come here, he only suggested you better train that girl. She is brilliant. And another good friend of mine, a chartered engineer, he also suggested you better train her. She is a very powerful staff. They understood a little bit about what I told about her background also. Someone like Buddha, she has never been allowed to interact with the society by her parents, mother especially. She lived in various Southeast Asian countries because her father was a top educational consultant. She has directly seen the tsunami coming in front of her. When she narrated that itself, I realized that she must be special. She will become special. At the age of 5 or 8 or 6, standing on top of a mountain, had gone for a picnic or something like that. There were several other people also. Then they had all these big things. It was, I suppose, in Andamans or somewhere. She saw people falling and dying and water level reaching 100 feet. Then I realized that I must train her. Because she had a massive experience in her brain, massive exposure. Somewhat equivalent to what Mandra and Amaya have with me, but that took years. The massive exposure. So I thought, okay, this girl is really, nobody has asked me a question like that. And I take a question seriously. I said, are you serious? I also said, if you know that fully, then you will not go for any, you will just go back home. Alright? But anyway, we are not going to proceed that way, it's only for 12 days. I am working on some people for 2 years, they are not able to go back home. Their own home.
Right.
They are still holding on to their achievements and, okay, nice, highly performing people, okay. They are not like me, who would just let that abandon great opportunities. I don't care, I'm very silly even to say that. But I tell them, I test them. They don't have the guts, despite crorepati's, despite millionaires. They talk, one day I want to live like you. I said, do it right now. I took so many years to get it, okay? I did not try for this, that. That's a different story. Coming back to the point, such a person is telling that there is a great requirement of people to know the details of the mind. Available theory, starting with Sigmund Freud or Carl Jung and all that. So I appreciate not only me, almost every psychologist of sensibility would appreciate Sigmund Freud, the great father of clinical psychology. In fact, I smoked because he smoked continuously. He always had a pipe. Very well-known figure, very handsome guy, Jewish, a neurosurgeon basically. So what my purpose is to tell you the essence of the fundamentals of his idea of mind. Sigmund Freud. I have my own theories, but they are all at a deeper level which is not required and it will take a lot of time to explain. So he basically talked about the three spokes of the mind. I told you the Trinity. Everything fundamental is three. We discussed about continuity, speed and condense. Okay? Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, the Trinity. So he put his own words. So in a newborn baby, there is the mind, and that potential is called, that mind potential must be sorry. There is no hand, it cannot move. The mind is originally available in the body like the body is, brain is, etc. So that mind has its original contents, which he called id, id.
ID.
Id. So it is, people say it is like it, because it is nameless, it is nothing, it is like an empty slate. There was a great philosopher who said, mind is an empty slate in the beginning with. Their language was called tabula rasa, that means empty slate in Greek or whatever. This is in all psychology books. But Sigmund Freud said it is not completely empty, it has the tendency, the basic instincts for emotions, for hunger, for sexuality, etc. By the way, he talked about that sexual energy, that's why Catholic Church cannot tolerate it. That's why most of the pretentious academicians and intellectuals cannot tolerate it. Because they have the double standards of aspiring and craving for sex on one side, and on the other side pretend that I am not at all. So that kind of people cannot tolerate Sigmund Freud. I also said the basic driving force of that mind is sexual in character, he said. There was no other word. It's about gender. I mean, that sex, only the educated people have some big problem with the word sex. But of course it's a big problem for them, no doubt about that. And which he renamed it called libido, L-I-B-A-D-O.
Libido.
He named it just as energy field. But he had to say that its basic orientation is sexual in character. Sexual meaning that instinct by which the organism is programmed for its continuity in this planet Earth. Continuity principle. If that sexual instinct was not programmed in the human being, I would say humanity would have ended the next day. Because human beings are intelligent, I mean, by natively very powerful brain, sensibility, etc. Naturally there, evidenced by the discovery of dance and rhythm and beauty everywhere. Any intelligent human being would immediately discover that the sexual act is the most funny, clumsy act. It is a funny, clumsy, artificial act. No beauty in that at all. It is ugliness 100%. But it is so camouflaged by that instinctual energy.
Yes.
Beautiful. And Sigmund Freud said the driving force of all creative energy is sexual in character. Creativity requires the sexual energy. I mean the libidinal energy. Because that's where the poetry originated. In seeing the so-called beauty and elegance and wonder and magic and mystery of the so-called female. Take all the poetry in the world history, almost 90% of them are about females written by men.
Okay.
The sari, the most elegant dress ever created, according to my design sensitivity,
Yes.
about which I have written. It was discovered by a man. Dance was discovered by a man, a rishi. The beauty of the female was rather discovered by the male, naturally.
It's a
It
natural.
was an instinctual program. So, the Eid, Eid. So he also said it is full of animalistic impulses. That's where I disagree with Sigmund Freud. I don't know. If I was alive, I would have wondered, how do you define animal? That became a problem for him later. I think. Because along with that he also says seed is there, sexual instinct, it is animalistic, and the Western world and the Catholic Church just cannot tolerate the word animal to be used to compare human beings. They disregard, they put down, they just want to decimate animals as if the planet is only for the bloody human beings. That's another story which I am very, I can talk about now, I can talk for hours to any audience anywhere in the world about whatever I talk. And I have talked. I said, some of the classic talks, wherever it happened to sort. That also nobody bothered, they took it in a very common video camera. And I never wondered. Nobody knew that I was going to give such a bloody original talk on the stage. Even after hearing me 10 times, nobody thought. Because I don't say that I did. I don't show that I did a wonderful talk. If somebody come to appreciate me, yeah, that's all. So that libidinal energy. But it was created by Sigmund Freud, so there are certain points. So all forces of hatred, animosity, aggression, jealousy, the killer instincts are a part of that Eid, animal instinct. With power to destroy. Along with, because of I am such a master in what I talk, I am putting another concept, like a master editor putting a certain sort of scenes in sequence. That's the work of an editor in a film. He decides which shot to come next, because he understands the spirit of the film, not even the director. So, I am a great editor. Actually, I am editing the mind of you. I am editing the film of the running Ashwini. Rather, I am creating a film inside you. And I am telling you, it is already directed and well edited. Evidenced by the fact I am going to tell you which you may not recognize. But a greatly experienced academician would recognize. So right now, in conjunction with that, I am also proposing what he also said. Okay? This Eid also has two tendencies. One is that aggressive destroying force, so-called evil, which he named Thanatos, Thanatos, and the just opposite, the love and care and concern and brilliance and beauty and elegance and correctness and completeness, which he named Eros, E-R-O-S. love for life. There also he is a daring guy, you know. Even all of that has a color of sexual enjoyment. He said the basic capacity for the organism to feel enjoyment is linkaged with that original enjoyment of the orgasmic moment, programmed in the anatomy of the human figure. The ultimate expression of eros is actual sexual intercourse culminating out of the genuine love and wonder and appreciation of the man to the female body. That is the ultimate of eros. Because here you have the poetry and the music and the painting and the sculpture and the philosophy and mysticism to take that moment of union with another beautiful female to a level which is the ultimate of instinctual force of guaranteeing. That is ultimate of eros. And at the lower end is cutting a joke about you and ha ha ha. So that kind of little happiness. What I get to by smoking a cigarette kind of a thing. So that two-dimensional rotating thing is this so-called heat, you know.
Right.
From evil to the good and back to evil and things like that. So that's everybody is capable of engaging the severest of evil thoughts. Thoughts.
Yes.
Even I have done that. I wanted to destroy the entire humanity at one point of time. Because I could not tolerate the way they are wasting the wonderful gift of their genius to them. That's why. I have openly told this. I have said God is like that master thief, a cunning fellow, giving all the wonders to in that billion, trillion, whatever neurons, so that cerebral cortex and the spinal cord and the autonomic nervous system. He did not also give an automatically opening gate. You have to really be a master thief to locate that gate and to break open the lock and open the gate.
Yes.
Rather than the language of the sin, even that gate is not a gate, it is a gateless gate. Is there a gate? Yes. Is there a gate? No. You have to open that kind of a gate. When we try to enter, there is a gate. When we move away, there is no gate. So Id. So do you see the structure? Do you visualize that structure?
Yes.
Id is the foundation. By birth. So he has subscribed to hundreds of children with his masterly engines of observation and attention and reflection and thinking and analyzing and conceptualizing. He said by about 1.5 to 2 years, my phone is ringing. Could you bring that? It must be there. No, it is here. Whoever is calling now is a wonderful person. What is it? Yeah. Anyway, he cut the call. He is the one who supplied the herbs.
Okay.
You paid him the money on the spot, etc. etc. So, okay. This is why I don't like interruptions, because I am not talking mugged up knowledge, This is why I am so strict in my class. I always get special permission from the director. Those who, they will get a feel of my session on the first day. And those who really are desirous and at least cooperate in the silence of the class, they only need to sit. I will give them a B. Examination guaranteed. But it is better than tolerating them in the classroom. So what I was talking about? So the Eid.
Eid and errors.
So around 1.5 years or so, something like that, Mandra would know. Another level of consciousness evolves. This is also called as the structure of consciousness. Another orbit of consciousness arose in the child by interaction with the environment and the maturity engendered by the body. And that part that country he has named ego, E-G-O, ego. The great population use the word egoistic, etc., etc. The problem with psychology is that you use words which are available in the market.
Yes.
If you create a new word, like it, you have to write a lot about clarifying that.
True.
But other sciences can immediately do that. Everybody will accept. Because they don't know what is happening there. They discuss something and say it is toluene and this is sodium silicate, this is carbon dioxide, blah blah blah. Their own names. I mean, based on some so-called facts. But it is alien to the public, you know. So, ego is an executive agency. That's the word used by Sigmund Freud. It develops almost, it has to be developed in the child because soon the child, the developing so-called mental energy, the libidinal energy of the child and its expressions, doing this, taking that, throwing this, I don't know, floating, and it soon realizes because of the power of the sense and the developing power of the consciousness that everything will not work here. So I have to control myself. So it's an executive agent. If I do these things, like our derby is trained, if I touch that, I will get this. And if I do that, I will get a chocolate. Same way. In fact, another great psychologist called Hans J. Eysenck in England, he conceptualized that. What was Eysenck's contribution? It was an unnecessary reference, okay? So we are talking about ego. It's an internal thing. A lot of parents, especially antisocial kind of parents, fool around with that ego only. You know? Because that executive agent which was naturally developing, discriminating what is required, what is not required, what is appropriate, what is not appropriate, what is suitable, what is not suitable, ultimately what is right, wrong, what is correct, incorrect, what is good, bad. That's why environment is so critically important. That's why the parents, the father and mother have to be God equivalent people. Because they are getting the most wonderful entity in the universe for about 10 years to mold it into a wonderful genius or a mystic. I sometimes wonder to these normal parents, one day the queen or the king is bringing their child, please take care of it. They will die. The entire location, their villages will be praying and dying to protect their child because it's the child of the emperor. I am telling even an ordinary hut will do that. Even the highest feudal chief would do that. Because it is the child of the emperor. Here he has his own child, okay. That is the self-importance of people about themselves, about which they kill each other, okay, as if they are so important. Okay?
Yeah.
What is their importance? They really look at them as useless, useless entities. Evidenced by the fact that they don't look at their child as a great wonder and an opportunity. It should either happen by natural tendency. I don't know what my father and mother did to me because somebody told them or trained them. They were also trained. I mean, my father was good in Upanishad, mother was a classical singer, blah, blah, blah. I think the second or third lady in Kerala state to pass the so-called intermediate. That kind of a lady. Luckily, this body. I'm asking the world of highly educated so-called fathers, have you ever asked your son, do you think? Have you ever introduced that marvelous process of thinking into the child, triggered that, developed it, stimulated it, give a proper feedback? The word think is not there. You don't have to think. If you are a thinker, you will not be in the schoolrooms. You have to mug up, you have to rote line preferably every letter. Every equation, every A plus B the whole square.
Yes.
That is success. That's why no real thinking individual in the history of the world, even after education process, has been in their classrooms. That's why I was never in the classrooms. Even if I was present physically. Anyway, I could not afford to be an eccentric guy because I happened to be in one of the top colleges in Kerala State called Union Christian College, Alvey, where I ended up as a teacher later. Okay, the force of Eros will be working. Force of Thanatos also working from the id during this choicest time from when the ego is developing. So what is good for somebody is bad for another person. What is great for very stupid. So differences in opinion, because what the good he has seen at his home is of that quality. So he thinks that is the real quality. He only witnessed the quarrels and conflicts between the beloved huge entities in their life. Little imagine a 3-year-old child is seeing the gods, the huge figures in front of it, okay? Little baby, shouting at each other, showing faces. You're a mother, you know, even a small variation of your eyes will be noticed by the infant. And the 3-year-old baby is watching such ridiculous dialogue exchange, abusive language between the so-called gods in front of it. And making it more dangerous by going to the other room and shouting there. Here they are leaving it to the much more anxiety of the child. Here it is at least in front, you know. Now it is happening in the bedroom and the child is in this room. And it is lying with a shivering heart and deciding whatever its aid, Thanatos impulses are choosing. That is how criminals are born. No criminal has taken a decision one day, I am going to be a criminal from tomorrow onwards. No, never. Just like no good man made a promise to oneself that I am going to be a good man. The people, of course, my father has told me 100 times, be a good boy, be a good boy. Every father does that. But I became good by my own discovery. I am not good or bad, I am above all those things. I don't care what, I don't do things because something is good. I don't stop doing something because it is bad. I started smoking at the age of 14. I have gone to toddy shops with the rowdies. I played cards till 2 o'clock in the night with the rowdies of the location and walked around through the dangerous forest towards my home at 12 o'clock night. Alone. Whereas their house is in the so-called village shop location. So the ego. So think a lot about ego. What was gone into the ego of the little girl named by you? Who named her that word? Her husband? Grandfather? Who named her with that word? Like you are named Ashwini, she has a name. Who gave that name? Who suggested that name? Are you listening to me?
Yes.
I am asking a question. Who gave that name to her?
Ego.
Where are you? I am asking, I am telling, I am now talking about the lady. From Sigmund Freud and ego, I am now talking about the lady. Why we discuss so much about ego, which is about right and wrong and correct and incorrect and good and bad and required and not required. That is in charge. Ego is in charge of that. That's what I said. Okay, anyway, you are listening to the video minimum 3 times again. Okay.
Yes.
So look at the ego development of the girl here.
Varshini.
I am avoiding using her name.
Okay.
Nothing matters, nobody will know. People are not bothered about the names. What was the rights and wrongs indicated or pointed out or explained or shown or demonstrated by that father?
Yeah.
What were the corrects and incorrects demonstrated to the child by such a father? What were the good and bad, the ultimate judgments? The fundamental competency required for the man. Was there much in that very limited range of their what you call circle of life? Okay, I am relating it with the why we are discussing about mind. I hope you know. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
All I talk to you is for somebody else, and it in effect it was you also. And then by the age of, even around that time, 2.5, 3 years, the parents start giving all kinds of ideologies of religion, good, bad, etc. They are teaching. The parent who showed a great criminal dialogues with the mother or the mother to the father, she tells the child, okay, you should be talking good to other people. You should never use vulgar language. You should never tell lies, okay, my darling? And anyway, and then you have to study your blah blah blah, all kinds of things, suggestions and guidelines and what to do, what not to do, what is good, what is right and wrong, how to behave, how not to behave, etc. All social customs, etc., etc., etc. Over a period of 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 years, parental counseling. As a result of which, the next structure, the next spoke of the mind is formed, which is called a superego. So the three structure, or the three spokes, which I call three spokes. Sigmund Freud used the word, what you call structure. I would replace it with a much more dynamic word, with the metaphor of a bullock cart wheel. The minimum number of spokes required for a bullock cart wheel classic is 3 spokes, Trinity. So these are the 3 spokes of the mind. The rolling mind, you know.
Yes.
The ever-rolling mind. Whichever spoke is touching at one point, that part is noticed. Enabling the stream of consciousness and that stupid flow of thought from which the consciousness to work hard to escape. All these are thought produced, you know. Language produced. Most of the confusions and conflicts and worries and depressions and anxieties and all those things for the modern human being, they are all generated by their great advantage called language, that running language in the mind. The great advantage as well as the great disadvantage actually in effect. That which points out the truth, language is that can point out the truth, and the same will block the truth. Even from the most ardent attention. And that language is the greatest tool and weapon of the mind. Mind is so happy about language. That's why little baby develops entire language between 3.5 to 8 years. Great lot of linguists, so-called, science of language, including its top genius called, what you call, Noam Chomsky. Even he researched for 23 years, he could not come up with an explanation about a little baby developing language over a period of 3 years, mastery over language. From 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 23 words during the developmental time, suddenly one day the child is talking, I am a genius. Talking. I believe in God. He is my savior. He is my Messiah. Included. Plus Jack and Jill went up the hill. Plus a little bit of modern smartphone induced artificial games and stimulants of the mind. Computer games and all. That is the pattern now, you know.
Yes.
Making them more and more imbecile. The future generation, I am feeling so disappointed to say that all these current trends of the world, technology which so-called man, every other guy on the road is so proud about, will demarcate that the real entry into the world of man-created real destruction to itself. Like their own Bible says, the one who takes the sword shall be defeated by the sword. Automobiles and all those things were not. The so-called biotechnology and including biotechnology, experimenting with human structure, along with viruses and other greedy, madly greedy corporate whatever, evils. They will all see a deteriorate world before they disappear. No doubt about that. They are training little interest that the world is available at their fingertips. They think they are doing a wonder by pressing the buttons of a most complicated machine. As of now, almost no human being is anywhere near even the primary tool created by technology. Every technology, you take every object in front of you, they are all fine, finished, fine performing than a human engine. Nobody can run in the speed of a bike. Nobody can perform like a bike. Nobody can. For example, one of the millions of examples. Every pencil and pen and what to dress, everything is so beautifully crafted, and so-called ordinary people go and choose what they like. Though it's of substandard quality worldwide, most of the Indian products substandard quality. Actually, so ego and superego. So I'll never forget this. So everybody who is coming across you is physically has flesh, blood, face, profile, dress, etc. Okay? That's only very physical appearance, my dear Ashwini. The running engines are deep inside, their attitudes, their values, their interests, their goals, their hidden goals, their various mindsets and mental blocks and all kinds of id contents and ego contents and superego contents. That's why I don't see human beings. I don't remember faces. Of course I don't see, but my look is always 1 centimeter inside the body. Of course these are all 100% invisible, but I want not to depend upon the visuals. Visuals are 100% useless. Useless. Sometimes misleading. Misleading you will know only later, that's a different issue. Okay. That is the first awareness issue. I am training the future trainer in you also, Ashwini. I am doing a multitask right now, which only I can do, which I do for some strange reason to you. Some strange reason. I don't know why I do this to you.
Okay, doctor.
To the point sometimes I feel funny about me, what all I am talking to this lady. Yes, I talk the truth, according to the requirement. I don't care truth and all these things, I just talk what is required. I don't belong to many of the, I don't belong to the world. No, I have written about it in my book. I just don't belong to the world of language like almost everybody else in this whole history of the world. I have transcended language, but I use it. Like I have transcended my body, but the body is alive. But I'm belong to the reality. I have created a theory and it is written in my book. It is not an altogether new idea. Even J. Krishnamurti, great philosophers, also talk about word is not the thing. I cannot light my cigarette with a word cigarette lighter. I need this thing named
Yes.
cigarette lighter.
That object should be there.
And every word is a name. That should be your fundamental understanding. Writing in capital letters and making 3 underlines in the notes that you have to make listening to my video and submit it to me if you want my cooperation to continue at future times.
Sure.
I am sure they are not important, but they are the guarantee, they are the evidences, like a test examination. You are doing somewhat okay only. But I have to depend on my trust in your ability to understand me, otherwise I could not continue talking. I am not talking to show what I know, but to make you altered in your understanding about existence, altering your understanding about the so-called mind in a way which very rare people only can do. Id-ego, superego, first year psychology student learns,
Okay.
but not in this angle of observation. And as I told you, you are the one who should learn it. That's another reality.
Yes.
Because you are going to, like a great creativity therapist, you are like a great psychologist. You are doing something which no psychologist in the world can achieve. I am telling almost no psychologist. Perhaps one of my own trainers, Veena Ganesh, may do a little bit of things. Because she is practicing it. My Mandra Rishika tried it with a little bit of success. That's why I said you have to write daily notes, and at the end of it you have to publish a book of my experiments with my daughter.
Sure.
That will be a guideline for a great majority of mothers all over the world, guaranteed. Like I told to a girl 20 years back that you will become known as a best singer at the age of 40-45. She is just 45. I will show you her message. I was surprised. Because I don't do any nonsense, chatting or messaging in this mode and all that. A lot of people, 50% of the time they say, awesome, beautiful, wonderful and all that. Sometimes I say, okay, thank you. Sometimes I tell them, your singing was good. Because I also realized that it is cut and paste writing only. They do it with everybody who sings with them. Snowlin karaoke, what you call Apple program, wonderful, marvelous program.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who is a VIP member paying a huge amount, which I am not, I don't want to, they will put invites. All songs are differentially recorded beautifully into duets. Even solos are converted into duets. So in their invites, in beautiful karaoke you know?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Are you tired listening?
No, doctor.
Okay. And full music, original music. So let us say classical duet, the female part, then the male part. So that male part or the invitee can enter in and sing that portion. That is pure. Which has helped me a lot in managing my earlier situation. I have sung 10,000 songs in the last 4 years. 10,000.
Okay.
10,000 singing.
Got it.
But there are people with 3.5 lakh, because if you put an invite and if 20 people join, that will be counted as 20 recordings. So there are people with 3.75 lakh recordings. So many people sang with them or heard them, etc. for various reasons. Especially if the singer is a beautiful girl, there will be a lot of co-singers who cannot sing even one line clearly also would be there. Just singing with that girl, But everybody is a bathroom singer anyway. The point is, So she sang. I have sung with her. She's a real good singer. And one song in which I did not sing, actually. It was put as a solo. I think so. I did not sing that song with her, that I am sure. But for some reason I saw that and I heard it. And I wrote a clear commentary on that, which only a real music director can do. I can do with much better, but I will put only one or two lines. I am a master music director also. I understand the spirit of music and dance, of all art forms. Of reality, okay, universe, then what is the art form? By my understanding only I repaired machines, I told you, without knowing
Yes.
anything about a jeep or electrical electronic things. So, you are to be that real creative psychologist and creativity therapist with the most challenging situation which we have discussed a lot of times in our earlier videos.
Yes.
So her ego is very, very confused. In fact, many of the questions asked by Mandra, I will not tell him what to ask. Because I am a trainer. Even if she fails, I don't care. I want her to try on her own. After that, she would come and report to me. Marvelously brilliant questions. I have appreciated her at least 4-6 times to trigger her inspiration and curiosity. She tried all the domains, including her sexuality,
Yes.
asking questions about love, marriage, and all that. But nothing worked. That much of complex ego. And perhaps an absolute absence of superego. That is her speciality. More or less absolute absence of a valid superego. What is superego? Nothing but the collection of memories and learnings and trainings in knowing and doing and being given by the environment. Starting with religion, you belong to this religion, taken to the church or temple, naming it, a naming ceremony, you belong to this family, this community, etc. Or you belong only to this family or this community. We are, n number of infinite variations of potentially harmful communication the parents can make to a child.
Yeah.
How many parents are that careful? That's what I should know. They give food, clothing, and if something happens to the child, they may die. But they don't know what to do with wonder. They only say every child is a God's gift. They only say. And the way they manage the God's gift is so ridiculous. And then they are deposited, like the master thieves, careless master thieves. I am just giving an example of master thieves' name is to be mentioned here. Like useless thieves, they put them into the kindergarten room and other rooms, leaving it to a stupid kindergarten teacher. Most of them stupid, not getting any other jobs, they come there. A really competent, creative lady, you just cannot be there. She has other greater works to do. There may be exceptions, maybe in the US or other places. There may be exceptional cases. Those who are rich, they can afford that life and love, that kind of a love to children. But I have never heard of anyone like that. Or read or saw in the YouTube. Maybe there. Anyway, that's not our concern. And most of the children, they learn the superego details from what you call neighborhood children.
Yes.
But most parents say, don't go with that way, don't be friends with, etc., etc., they do. But nevertheless, it won't matter for destiny, that's a whole different story. If we talk, we have to talk 100 matters at the same time. I want to give you the gist, believing that you will reflect upon that and develop and see this video at least 100 times in the future.
Yes.
Every time thinking new things. So your learning will begin afterwards. So virtually there is no superego in her, except a few things, respect to these old people, respect uncles and elderly people, which she meticulously does.
Yes.
How will that father tell her you should study and become an administrative, whatever that average Indian dream, or a doctor or an engineer? Doctor, engineer, IAS, now MBA also, manager. That's what every Tom, Dick and Harry kinds of parents nowadays tell their children apparently. Nobody tells them because India, caste-driven India. I am only a driver. The father is only a driver. He feels worried about that, disappointed about that, and that father is telling the child, you should take IAS. Now father tells the child, you be a driver also. I have told to Amaya Rajarshi 2-3 times, ask Mantra Rishika. He's a wonderful driver. Already. You can feel the engines on the road. Who experience the beauty of driving, like I do. He has been trained by me. Who drives an MM540 knowing every nut and bolt of it, which I told you the other day. I can feel how it feels on the varied roads. So that kind of it. You have mentioned. So there is no superego in her, unfortunately. So better never give her any ideas that are in the superego.
Okay.
That she has to create herself. She must have heard a lot of things, I'm not sure. And we are not aware how the E impulses are operating in her. She is already 22. Is it a kind of a weak body, a kind of an insensitive, paralyzed body or something like that? No. She knows very well that she is looking very sexy.
Yeah, that image is there.
No doubt, I know.
Almost half an hour to 45 minutes she stands in front of the mirror.
And you already said that she was very fond of the makeup and decorations and good dress.
Yes.
That her father also very likely to have trained her.
On that time,
You only did that.
yeah, it has come to her naturally. It's spontaneous. Nobody has trained.
No. How do you know? It doesn't come naturally. Without a clue, no human being can do anything.
Maybe looking at her cousins.
No. Anything.
Yeah.
Anything. There must be a triggering stone. There must be a
Yeah.
falling stone.
By her cousins.
Like evidence is language learning.
Okay.
Evidence is the original mind is an empty slate.
Yes. That is there.
So if somebody claim I did it myself and all that, it is questionable. That is an activity of a highly creative mind, which even the entire female community in history is not. As I told you, the beauty of the female was defined by the man. Her costume was defined by the man. Because the beauty of the female is the only way the programmed instinct of sexuality in the id of the man can be triggered. He cannot take a university degree in sexuality, impossible. It's a programmed instinct, I told you.
Yes.
It is the eros, it is called erotic force. This is feelings with the sexual connotation they will call erotic feelings. The word erotic has become associated with the sexual images. And nobody knows what she does with such instincts. She is capable of that secrecy already, just imagine. Do you have any idea? No. I know that you have no idea. But I know, as a creative psychologist. Even now, perhaps you look at her as an 8-year-old child. Mental image.
Yeah.
You don't accept what you see. So, whatever is that ego, superego structure or dynamics in her is unfortunately reinforced by varied conditions. That is the challenge of you, okay? But of course, assisted by various rasayanas. That's all what we can do. I told you all those rasayanas are to trigger the higher order networks of the brain.
Yeah.
There is no rasayana mentioned, I told you, for mental retirement, this kind of conditions. There are certain medicines for epilepsy, madness, that kind of level of things. Ayurvedic treatments are also there. There are great Ayurvedic treatment centers in Kerala, exclusively for such people. But she has nothing like that.
Yeah.
So, that is the mind.
I need to be a keen observer of even smallest simple things. There are possibilities.
And you have to choose what to respond to, what not to respond to, how to respond to, all those things. Don't take it very seriously. Be cool about it. We are listening, we are discussing, I am making you sensitized to all those things.
Okay.
You will be. Not now, over the period of some time.
Over.
You cannot look her anymore the way you looked at her before.
Yeah.
No doubt. That I have done. So, any questions?